Okay, so I always knew this day would come. Eventually it was going to happen. Not everything's a construction defect. Check this out. Hey guys, Steve Graff from Construction Defect Videos. I just did a frame inspection. You won't believe how well this one went. I can't believe how well it went. But if you're gonna hire an inspector to do an inspection for you on a home you're building, whether you're at frame stage, slab, final, whatever it is, make sure that he's at least a licensed contractor, preferably a licensed code inspector. But at any rate, you make your own choice on who you're gonna hire, but just definitely do your homework on your inspector. This inspection went so well, I want to take the opportunity to go through it, not show you a bunch of defects, but kind of show you the way it goes, the way I run my show. But nonetheless, I'll show you a few things that I normally look at, and you'll get an idea of what to expect out of your inspector if you're gonna hire someone. All right, here we go. All right, walking into this frame inspection. Nobody's meeting me here. I'm gonna be going through it from top to bottom. So one of the first things I do is visit the permit box, collect the plans, the truss engineering, provided they're in there, set up camp at some place inside here. So I got my plans set up so I can check the details, got my truss engineering, got the level, the mirror to check, got the water, got everything I need. So let's, generally when I get started on an inspection, I look around for defects, anything that jumps out at me, whether it be a defective strap, a broken stud, some sort of defect, missing nail plate. Just take an initial look around and look for any defect that clearly jumps out. So I spent a few minutes at the beginning of the inspection getting started on that before I move to specific tasks. Let's check out some of those tasks I got to do. All right, so during my frame inspection, I'm gonna use a mirror to check all the straps. So what I'm doing up there is I'm looking at that strap coming out of the masonry wall, making sure it's properly fastened. This particular strap wraps over the top and it's nailed on the other side. So you can go through and check every single strap using a mirror on a pole like this. And it's a big time saver as opposed to moving the ladder around and checking every strap. Process of checking all those mechanical connections. You have the trusses attached to the bearing wall with Uplift. You make sure that the wall at the bottom has got the proper anchor bolts in it. You've got the proper Uplift load path. So the truss connection down to the slab is adequate in accordance with what the plans say. Example of a header opening with Uplift. The trusses are attached to the double top plate. The header straps come down onto these jack studs. The attachment at the bottom here, you have this hold down anchored into the slab. This is all per the plan details and not a problem at all found here. During a frame inspection, you're going to check the MEPs, the mechanical, electric, plumbing. So I generally go through the plumbing first, check and make sure that all the nail plates are in, make sure that the work is done in accordance with the code and in substantial compliance with the plans. The one defect, it's not really a defect, it's just not finished yet. Where these lines go through the top plate there, they need to be foamed. It looks like the electrician got his foamed, but the supply pipes that penetrate the top plate there, they just aren't foamed like they're supposed to be. But I don't deem that as being a defect per se. I just deem it as being incomplete work. So is it going to be on my report? Absolutely. Is it a sky is falling? No, it's not, but it is something that needs to be done and I need to confirm. Continuing on with the plumbing, it goes all the way up. We've got a nail plate there. I think we're supposed to. Once again, pipes aren't foamed where they penetrate the slab. There's your drain system, your supply pipes. Here's your bathtub. They got their flashing tape, so they are on it. All their code required things are done. This tub installation looks satisfactory, and there's not a bunch of water and junk and debris inside of it like we see from time to time. Laundry room, you got your laundry room sink, got your supply pipes with PEX piping, PVC pipe penetrating the slab, it's sleeved. Over here in the washer and dryer area, we've got our Hansen box, our supply box for the washing machine. Got our dryer vent connection with the gas line coming on through. It goes all the way up. We got all our nail plates. Where it penetrates the roof, they got mastic on it. It's just looking great. During any pre-drywall inspection, you definitely want to check your electrical. You have the opportunity to see the boxes, make sure they're properly installed, properly fastened, and everything is correct and in accordance with code requirements. Make sure any nail plates that are needed are in. You'll see that these electrical lines are foamed where they penetrate the top plate like they're supposed to be. I don't see any missing nail plates, no electrical defects found going through this entire project. It's a great sample of a nail plate that was put on to protect these wires from being hit. Here's your air handler location. They've got the lines in. Those are your refrigerant lines coming through. This is your drain line for your condensate drain. You see this particular drain is poly foam insulated on its horizontals. It goes through the slab and then goes under the dirt and comes out outside. During the pre-drywall inspection, you want to check out the ductwork, the air conditioning ductwork. You see it up there, they got it mastic at the distribution box. Got your vents going everywhere they're supposed to go. All the rooms have supplies. And one thing you want to check as well, not just supplies, but returns. So you walk into this room, we got a return right near the door, and there's your supplies. So they're spaced far enough apart. They're far enough from the smoke detector, which is over there. So there's your smoke detector. It's plenty far from the smoke detector. In regards to this air conditioning return right here, you'll see it's a jumper return. So code requires that there's a return in each bedroom, and that's achieved in multiple different ways. But this is what I call a jumper vent, where it goes in. This is the return inside the bedroom. So it goes in there. It's ducted over to an opening outside the room, so it comes out there. So this meets the code requirement for return air, unless there's going to be a door here. If there's going to be a door here, then it doesn't meet the intent of the code. So as long as this is going to be a wrapped opening, meaning it has no actual door, and we'll check that on the plans, then this would in fact meet code. In addition to the air conditioning, you're going to check your mechanical ventilation. So there's your mechanical that goes through for bathroom ventilation. It's supposed to be mastic as it penetrates the roof, and it is. And with that kitchen exhaust, that goes up through the roof. You see up there, without having to ladder up, you can clearly see it's got mastic where it penetrates the roof. They got a pre-plumb for the outdoor kitchen here. Got your drains, your supplies, got your gas line. One thing I noticed, I don't have a vent. So there's no pre-plumb for the vent, whether it goes through the roof or whether it goes through the wall. If you're going to pay for a pre-plumb kitchen, you definitely want something for your vent, unless they're going to leave that to the outdoor kitchen people, but I'll make a note about this on my report. AC pad, nice and square and flat. And there's your refrigerant lines and that chase coming down. And here's your electrical for the AC spot. Here's your clean out, your plumbing clean out. Here's your condensate drain line coming out of the ground. It appears to be in good shape. Here's your future water heater installation. You've got your electric, you've got your water line, you've got your gas. They've got this copper piping sleeve where it penetrates the masonry like they should. So it meets all the requirements. Got your meter box, not really center with their waterproofing stucco, but nonetheless, I don't think it's enough to complain about. Conduit comes out of the ground. They've got it properly secured to the bottom of the box. Come over here to your gas coming in and out. Gas lines are currently under pressure test, holding steady. So they're good on that end. Want to check the furring strips. So here you go. You got cabinet blocking, the upper blocking and lower blocking. You're going to have this generally in the kitchens and the bathrooms. Kitchen and the bathrooms. You see the same thing here where you got your blocking. You want to make sure your blocking's in, it's secure, satisfactory. There's no need for any nail plates or anything like that. No problems found in that phase. Prior to drywall installation, you want to check all your furring strips, make sure they're secure, properly fastened, that are properly located. I think they did a really good job on this fur and strip installation as far as overall installation and how good of a job they did. You got to have fur and strips around the windows so they're boxed in, so the drywall comes over and goes across. So this is a good looking job here. In this home, there's 2 attic accesses. In the attic access, they've done baffles around it, so when they blow in the insulation, it doesn't fall out of the attic every time you go up. This attic access has a light fixture. So light fixture is required if there's mechanical equipment in the attic, but I always prefer to have a light with a switch in the attic, and this one does. Generally, checking the window installations to make sure that they use the proper fasteners, and check and make sure that it's the right window. So this is impact glass. Let's check out the outside about the waterproofing. They've properly shimmed them, and they've got them nice and square, and they got these in pretty good. Here we are outside looking at the window installation. They've done a waterproofing system, a secondary waterproofing system, where they've used a waterproofing paint, and then they've caulked the windows and the precast sills. So when the stucco is applied, and if and when it cracks, the water goes through the crack in the stucco and doesn't penetrate the masonry, and ended up with leaky windows. So this is a good practice, and it's not specifically required by the window manufacturer, but each builder kind of does his own thing. But this is the way I'd love to see it on all of them. One thing that I will always have on my report at this stage is that the exterior is not yet waterproofed. So when I say waterproofed, I don't expect it to be stuccoed and painted and primed and the whole 9 yards, but definitely need an application of exterior stucco to get it as watertight as possible. It's a practice where you don't really want to move to insulation and drywall phase if the home's not entirely watertight or as watertight as possible for this stage. So you want to keep things moving. It'll be a comment on my report about the exterior waterproofing not being complete. Not that it's defective, that it's just not done. All right, let's talk fire blocking. So what we have is a decorative box out there in the main entry. It's a bit lower than the ceiling level, so you end up with a place where you have a wire here. If it catches fire races up, it goes all the way up there to the top. And what they do is they put a piece of OSB all the way across the top. So what I'm looking for in insulation phase is I'm looking for that opening right there to be filled with foam. So they don't have to put any framing there. I'm happy with fire foam. It's adequate enough. So that's not a defect. Once again, just incomplete work. All right, so during my frame inspection, I always want to check and make sure the filled cells in the masonry are filled. So you see the way the lines are when you view this through an infrared camera. So that's how I tell, without doing a hammer test, that these cells are filled. So I made a short video about that a while ago, but check it out. Out here, you have at the bottom, you have a patch here. That means this cell is filled solid all the way up. So you would confirm that with the infrared camera. And scan, and depending on how long ago it was done and the temperature outside, it's about whether these filled cells show up as cold or hot, but they're not going to be the same as the masonry wall when you scan it. A voided area and a filled area are going to come across different from a temperature standpoint. So that's a great example of a filled cell right there. Interesting side by side, the opposite side of the garage is in the shade, so it doesn't have the sun shining directly on it. You see how the filled cells are all cold? So they're purple vertical lines going up to that purple horizontal line. The top row of blocks there is poured solid, and the vertical cells are poured solid. So this is a pretty easy task to do with the right infrared camera to make sure there's no voided cells. Near the end, one of the last tasks I do on any frame inspection is go through the entire home, looking for bows in the wall, looking for bowed studs, out of plumb walls, anything I can find that may show up later and be harder to fix. So I went through this home. I've got, see how I marked it with red? So you have like one bowed stud right there where it's sticking out of the wall pretty significantly. So that guy right there, they got to address that in frame stage. But overall, the wall plane on this one went real good. All right, here we go, the fun part. Now we're gonna fly the roof with the drone before we walk it so we can see what it looks like before we even bother getting up there. But tiles should be loaded on the roof. You want the weight of the tile roof on before the drywall goes up. That way there's no extensive cracking interior. All right, ready for takeoff. All right, here we go. Favorite part of the inspection, right? Gotta do our pre-plumb. And up we go. Change to the camera view on the drone. Made you guys a bit dizzy with my flying, but I took a lot of pictures. So generally, the roof inspection doesn't really happen in full until you get home and look at these things on the computer. So the 50 some odd pictures I took, I'll look at each one of those real close. And I did walk the roof, and I didn't really see any defects. But anytime you fly the roof with the drone, I don't generally take video. I only did it for the purposes of this video. But generally, I just take a bunch of pictures and look at them on the computer later. So a drone's a real effective tool, especially when builders don't want you on the roof or the roof's too steep. First and last stop on any inspection is to go get the plans and make sure you put them back. These things tend to get legs. Now that was a refreshing change. I mean, I didn't go through everything that I look at because that would take, I mean, gosh, I've been here for 3 hours and it's not even a big house. But you know, they aren't all bad. It's not all defects, but this is a refreshing change, and happy I was able to share it with you. If you liked it, just follow us, share, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you have any comments about the service that we provide, or hiring a inspector to look at your home while it's being built, just reach out to us or give us a comment below. All right, bless you guys and have a great day.